Hi everyone, you're welcome back to the channel. My name is Lila and I live in Ghana. So today we are brewing Pito. Pito is our local indigenous beer and it is brewed mostly in households. It originates from the northern part of Ghana. However, it is not exclusive to Ghana. It is enjoyed across a lot of West African countries like Nigeria and some other countries. So I'm going to show you how we brew it, and then we use fermented millet. That's the base of this beer, fermented millet. So let's get right into it. Our sister is going to help us. Her name is Sister Rita. So let's get right into it. Auntie Rita, into when you day?
We are toko millet.
Millet.
So to brew our local beer, also known as Pito, you can use either fermented sorghum or fermented millet. For the purposes of this video, we are going to be using fermented millet. This is how the millet looks like. At this point, it is ready to go to the mill, but it goes through some processes before it reaches this point. What we do is we soak it in water for about 24 hours, then we take it out of the water, we spread it on the floor, and then we cover it for about 5 to 7 days. This is to allow it to germinate. After 5 to 7 days, we collect it from the floor, then we put it in a sack, and then we tie it for another 2 days. After the 2 days, we take it out of the sack, and then we spread it on the floor again for it to dry completely. Then you get this result, as you see now. At this point, it is ready to go to the mill. You see those thread-like substances in the millet that is sort of binding it, holding it together. That is it germinating. Now, it is important that it germinates for a couple of reasons. The first is to help it ferment. Without this thread-like substance, it is not going to ferment. When we mill it into flour, it is just going to be millet flour that can be used for cooking any meal, and it will not ferment when we use it to brew our beer. But when it germinates and gets the thread-like substance, then it is able to ferment. Also, it is the same substance that gives it a very sweet taste. Our local Pito has a very sweet taste. So this is what gives it that sweet taste. So at this point, we are going to mill it into powder and then continue our brewing from there.
All right, guys. So we are the local mill now, and we are going to mill it into powder. This is our local mill. This is it's publicly used by everyone. If you have something to mill, you can just walk into the local mill and then mill it. All right, guys, so these are okra sticks. She's going to pound the okra sticks until we can get the slime out of the okra. We can make it slimy. The slime is necessary in producing the pito. So after we pound it, we are going to just put it in a bowl, add some water, and then add the millet that we grinded. The millet is called atoko in our local dialect. So that's what we are going to do. We are just going to pound this and then put it in the bowl. Auntie Rita, now we'll catch him and say, okay, so she tells me that she's been doing this for about 15 years now. She's been doing it for about 15 years. Her mother taught her, whose mother also taught her. So this is generational. In most of families that I know, this is generational. It is taught by mothers and then grandmothers. And she tells me that she's also going to teach her daughter how to brew it. She comes from the Upper West region. And like I said, this drink originates from the northern part of Ghana. So usually they know how to brew it, and their mothers teach them, and then they also teach their daughters how to brew it.
So after pounding, we put the okra sticks into water, and Sister Rita is going to keep squeezing the okra until we get all the okra out into the water and the water is slimy. Then we continue by adding our millet flour.
Okay, guys, so now we add the millet to the slimy water.
So after the flour is poured into the basin, she stirs the flour together with the water and the okra for it to incorporate very well. Bear in mind that when we blend the flour, it's not a very smooth blend. We blend it for it to have a rough texture. So she has to stir very well for the water, the flour, and then the okra to be all incorporated very well, and then there are no lumps.
Eti sɛ adeɛ na yɛyɛ.
Sɛ yɛahono.
Mhm.
Nti yɛahono a, yɛbɛgya asi hɔ
Mhm.
na agyene. Agyene afei na yɛasesa nsuo no. Na yɛanoa wei no.
Yɛsesɛ nsuo no yɛgye si hɔ ama ne afei nsuo no aba ani.
Nsuo no bɛyɛ no yɛbɛsesa nsuo no agu afa. Na afei yɛanoa aduane no. Yɛanoa aduane no wie a na yɛasesa agu nsuo no mu.
Okay. Okay.
Adeɛ kyea na yɛasan toa so.
Okay. 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 So she tells me that after mixing it like this, she's going to leave it for it to settle, for the water to come up, and then the millet goes down. Once it settles, she will collect all the water and then separate the water from the millet paste. Once she separates it, then we're going to boil it. After boiling, we add the water back in and then we continue tomorrow. This is a 2-day process. Okay. India. Every so. So this is how it looks like after the millet has settled. We cover it for it to settle, and then after it settles, we collect all the okra sticks. And three times we no millet no kwa na ade ya na before for sa kan. Millet no kwa na ade. Okay, she tells me only the millet is used. Ebi nso come say ebi tiri this a malt o say.
I want me the malt.
Malt and sofra. Okay, okay.
As I say no, malt ho abɛyɛ do.
Okay. We're going to collect the water that has come up and then separate it from the millet paste, which is below. So she tells me that apart from the millet that we are using, sometimes you can add malt to it, but now the malt is very scarce. So you can only, so she's only using the millet, which also is possible. You can just use the millet if you don't have the malt. And the malt is scarce now, so she's taking the malt out and we're only going to brew the pito with the millet. Paste say na afei de asi gya so.
So after the water is separated from the millet paste, the paste is put on fire and then allowed to cook for some time. Whilst it cooks, it forms some foam on top. The brewer will keep collecting the foam until the millet is completely cooked to her satisfaction. When the millet is cooked, it is added back into the water that was initially separated from it. So now that the cooked millet is added back into the water, this is how it looks like. We are going to cover it up and then leave it overnight. So the rest of the process is going to continue tomorrow morning.
All right, guys, so it's about 6:40 a.m. the following morning, and at this point, our pito is ready for the next process. Let me show you.
So this is how the pito looks like the following day. As you can see, there is a massive change in color. It was more dark brown yesterday, and today it is leaning more towards orange or dark yellow. You can skip back a bit and then compare the color for yourself. So what we're going to do now is we are going to put the liquid back on fire again. But this time we are going to strain everything. We're going to take a strainer and then strain out all the millet chaff and then the okra sticks, everything, so that we have a smooth liquid, and then we put that on fire for it to boil. That will be the final boiling of our pito. So that's what we are going to do now. Strain everything and then put it back on fire.
All right, guys, so this is our pito completely brewed and ready to be enjoyed. We are just going to allow it to cool and then it is ready to drink.
Let me mention that when the pito is freshly brewed like this, the alcohol content is quite low. However, as the days go by, the alcohol content keeps increasing. There are also a couple of ways that you can use to increase the alcohol content very quickly. One way is to add yeast to it. The other way is to add old, already fermented pito. Usually, what the brewers do is that if they have fermented pito that is quite alcoholic, you can add that to the freshly brewed one, and then overnight the alcohol content will increase in the freshly brewed one. Usually, it is consumed where the brewer lives, or it is also sold in containers like these for whoever wants to take it away. If you are enjoying the video so far, please remember to subscribe and turn on your notification bell.
Okay guys, so our Pito is completely brewed. This is how we normally drink it in a traditional calabash. And it is usually drunk in just a hut that is built close to the brewer's house. Let us give it a try now. It's very tasty. You can taste the fermentation and then it's very, very sweet as well. This is quite good. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time in the next video. Bye.